pre-show, Brandon automatically assumed that each and every one of us were going to have the same number one team, and already I could tell that's not the case. Eagles, Eagles. I got them flying for first place, man. How could you not love their offseason? Making a big move, they go all in on Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is the guy. They trade for AJ Brown. They sign Hassan Reddick in free agency. One of the sleeper moves is Kazir White from the Chargers, a Pro Bowl caliber linebacker. They got him on a 1 year deal. Yo, the Eagles are primed and ready to go. They've taken some steps in the right direction. I love what they're doing, and they're bringing back some alternate jerseys that are so fire. Come on, guys, it's the Eagles.
Justin, you're familiar with James Bradbury, right?
Yes, I am. Yes, I
And
am.
Brandon, not Brandon. Mix up the names. You got four of us in here. JQ, I'm sure you're also even more familiar with him.
That was my guy the past 2 years. Yeah, he was one of my, top 10 favorite players, top 5 favorite players on the Giants. He had some good years with us. Those 2 years he was there, he was a lockdown corner. He was very solid, and it just sucks to see him go. But when you're in cap hell, when your old GM leaves you with no money left, certain guys got to go. It's unfortunate, but I think that pickup for the Eagles is great. And it stinks. I was sitting there on the night of the draft, and I'm like, oh, like the Eagles. I was like, oh, the Eagles are on the clock. And I was like, oh, wait, they traded the pick or like whatever happened. And I was like, oh no. And then like I saw it was like, oh, AJ Brown go to Philadelphia. I was like, oh my God. I was like, here we go. I was like, but I mean, Howie makes some good moves as a GM over there in Philly. And I think that team is poised for a playoff run. And I think it's going to be up to their quarterback. Can Hurts do it? But I think that overall team is the best like team in the NFC East. You got Dallas, which is a very good team. But I just think, I don't know. I think Philly's going to be a different beast this year. It's going to be tough to beat them.
To me, I feel like you always. By the way, on a side note, I said Justin. I'm sure you're familiar with James Bradbury. I met JQ
Well,
before.
I'm familiar too
Yeah.
because I wanted him in New England, so
Yeah.
that didn't happen.
Yeah, I thought the Steelers may even be a player for him, but Philadelphia is a great fit. He's replacing former Steeler Steven Nelson across from Darius Slay. I thought that was a good pickup for them. To me, though, the way you win games in the NFL is through the trenches. And I look at this Eagles defensive line: Javon Hargrave, stud; Fletcher Cox, Derek Barnett, sure, maybe hasn't lived up to expectation. He's back. Brennan Graham, Jordan Davis from Georgia. You get Nakobe Dean, his backer. And then, to me, on the offensive side of the ball, when healthy, this is easily one of the best offensive lines in the NFC. And you have one of the better running games by far, Jalen Hurts. Now, not only did the Eagles figure out how to run the football last year, pretty good at this thing, but you give Jalen a top 10 receiver in A.J. Brown. This is one of the most complete teams to me. I think they may have some holes here or there. There may be some players that leave some stuff to be desired. But overall, in this NFC, like JQ said, the deciding factor with this team winning 12 games or 9 by far is the progression Jalen Hurts takes in his second year as a starter. Because outside of him, I don't see a limiting factor with the way this team is built. And considering how good a first season their young head coach had last year as well. So, I mean, this is, to me, easily the team I have winning the NFC East, even with the Cowboys running things back again.
So, so I just want real quick, JQ. So, do you also have the Eagles winning the division, or
Yes, I do. I do.
okay,
I think it'll be
okay,
close. I think it'll be close, but I don't
yeah,
know. I just think they're better. So I think this is their year.
I
And
think one thing we can have common ground is that I think that's this division is going to be close, especially with I mean, in my opinion, I believe it's going to be close between Dallas, Philly, and Washington. So just to hit on Philly, a fun fact that I didn't know, but when it popped up, I opened my eyes a little bit. The Eagles haven't had a 1,000-yard wide receiver in the last 7 seasons. The last guy to do that was in 2014,
Who was it? Let me
Jeremy
guess.
Maclin.
Oh,
John wanted to guess it. Sorry, but yeah. So yeah, hopefully a healthy Devonta Smith, and or AJ Brown can produce to that level. I mean, we all know AJ Brown's very capable of doing that. We've seen him do it in Tennessee year in year out. Devontae Smith, he's got to get it going. I think the one thing that is holding them back, and again, I'm going to sound like a broken record. I feel like I've said it every single division breakdown we've done. I don't believe in the quarterback. So even when you tell me all those nice players that John mentioned, from Fletcher Cox to Brandon Graham, who me and Justin know very well, made basically the game-winning sack strip fumble on Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. Uh, and then Darius Slay in the backfield. But again, when I look at it and I say, this just hit me. Hassan Reddick, they signed that was a big free agent signing by the Philadelphia Eagles. He's had 23 and a half sacks in the last 2 seasons. That's going to really help out because the Eagles last year had 29 sacks all year, and that ranked 31st in the NFL. So second to last. So that's going to be a big help. But you tell me Jalen Hurts is your quarterback, I'm just not going to buy in. He's not a good thrower of the football. Let's be honest, he's not. I know there are people that believe in his winning intangibles and his leadership skills, and that's all fine and dandy. But for me, if you and that's like a similar thing. When somebody says that and says not good throw of the football, my mind instantly goes to Tim Tebow. I would admit he's a better thrower than Tim Tebow, right? He's faster, not as physical as Tebow. Tebow was a tank, but and we saw how Tebow panned out. I mean, yeah, he was able to win games in the regular season, but when it counted in the playoffs, and I know he beat, sorry, sore moment, but Johnny T's Pittsburgh Steelers. But then we saw him go against the New England Patriots, and it was a complete blowout. There was no competition there whatsoever. Uh, and last thing, they got a new rookie head coach in Philadelphia.
Well, second season.
Oh, second
Yeah,
season.
yeah, last
Okay,
year
okay,
for him.
okay,
Yeah.
okay. So, but so he's still a newish head coach. I think this is a Jalen Hurts make it or break it year. Because if he doesn't succeed, like JQ touched on, they traded for AJ Brown, but they also got an extra first round pick in 2023 from New Orleans. So now they got two first round picks next year, I think, or I don't know. I'd have to look up that, but they've got the assets to move up. Basically, if Jalen Hurts doesn't pan out, they can move up next year and draft a quarterback of the future.
No, Brand,
They're gonna
Jalen,
end up.
you're good.
Sorry, Johnny T. They're gonna end up with like 2, 3 picks next year because of those trades they did with Miami and San Francisco the years
Okay, so
before,
yeah,
and
okay,
that
yeah.
trade for AJ Brown, it all equals out. Howie's doing a great job over there. They have like a lot of draft capital, so if something happens, they're safe. They got luxury and they got room to work with. Johnny T, go ahead, say what you want.
Jalen Hurts has had games. I think back to Kansas City last year, he's playing from behind, where he's thrown 300 plus yards. And when you look at the talent surrounding him, a player we didn't mention was Dallas Goedert, one of the best tight ends in the NFL. Like he has touched on Devontae Smith, Devonta. They have so much talent around him. I think it's similar to Tua in Miami, where you can say, okay, Nick Sirianni had an impressive first year as a head coach. There's lower expectation, press conference he had coming in. But overall, I trust the head coach. I trust the guys in the trenches. And I think the defense is going to create more plays this year, along with the playmakers around him. They're surrounding not just the quarterback, but the running game. That this can be one of the most dynamic offenses. Jalen's ability as a runner, with his progression as a passer that you would expect, I wouldn't be surprised if he can maybe squeeze into the bag on the MVP race this year if the Eagles can win 12 or 13 games. I think this team is that well rounded. And hey, if he puts up the numbers with the rushing and passing totals, I wouldn't say it's that crazy to say he can climb into that MVP discussion. Do I think he's gonna win it? No, but maybe like top five and he gets some locks. That's just me.
So because you said he had a couple games of 300 yards plus, but I'm looking at his stats right now, and there were some weeks at a time, like a span of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks in a row where he posted under a 50 QBR. Like it went a 10.1 QBR, a 39.2 QBR, 23.8 QBR, 45.8, and a 49.1, all in a row. Then he went 94.4 QBR, but he only threw for 103 yards and only threw the ball 14 times. So that wasn't really him, doing much. Then he did then he had a 91 QBR against the Chargers, which they lost that game. Again, he only threw for 162 yards and only threw the ball 17 times. He had a couple good weeks in a row there. Then to 3 games in a row, basically to end the season, a 17.1 QBR, a 30.1 QBR, and then a 43.4 QBR. It's very inconsistent quarterback play. And if you're going to put up that kind of QBR, it's going to negatively affect your team. And I don't know if the Eagles as a team can overcome Jalen Hurts not, producing, throwing the football.
But did he have the playmakers around him? There, like there's stuff that goes into that. I feel like Quez Watkins is your number 2 some weeks. You're gonna have inconsistent results. Now Quez is the number 3.
Don't forget Jalen Rager too, and what a letdown that one has been as I think it was a
True.
first round pick too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
he
like
was.
like I mentioned, even when he was posting the high QBRs, he wasn't asked to do the majority of the job. It was the running game that was doing the work.
He played a
So,
pretty big role in that running game, though, wouldn't you say?
well, no, yeah, with
does.
his legs, but he's a quarterback. You got to eventually you're going to be forced to throw the football, and if you can't, then we've seen what happens with the quarterbacks that can't throw the football when asked to do so. And when the defensive coordinator or head coach for the opposing team says, "No, we're going to shut what you do best down, and we're going to force you as the quarterback to beat us."
No, I agree. I don't know. I want to ask you guys if you agree with this. I think that, Jalen Hurts makes his mistakes like every quarterback does. Some are worse than others, but I think that the team is so talented, the roster around him, that a lot of those mistakes are going to get like blown like under a blanket this year. Like you're not going to see a lot of Jalen Hurts' mistakes because I think that football team's going to be winning games and it's going to be like, oh, look, Jalen's performing at a decent level to where this team can win games, and the roster around him is just so stacked that it's not going to be an issue. People are not going to look back and be like, oh, but Jalen Hurts is throwing picks here and there, or having costly turnovers. I think like it's all going to get blown under a blanket because the team around him is so good. I don't know if you guys agree with that, but I just think like he's gonna. I think he's gonna have a good year. I really do, and I think his bad stuff's not going to get showed a lot of because the team's going to be winning. That's what I think. So.
No, I'm definitely with that. I can see. I just look at the weapons on the outside. You guys already named them, so I'm not even going to bother. But that's enough to alleviate any of those things that may cast a negative energy upon Jalen Hurts. We may think, oh, he has one bad game. Yo, this is a guy, not to drift to fantasy, but this guy's going to be putting up crazy fantasy numbers with his legs and with his arm. And we echoed it already. Devontae Smith is one of the top receivers that came out of that draft. And he had a hell of a rookie season. It doesn't get talked about enough because of guys like Jamar Chase, but Devontae Smith is right up there too. So couple that with AJ Brown and Goddard, Jalen Hurts has weapons galore right now. I think the best weapons in the NFC East.
Yeah, I would certainly agree.